everyone, and welcome back. Hi, my name is Christy. I am located in Massachusetts, Zone 6, with an average last frost date of May 15th. And today we're going to go ahead and start something that you definitely need to have in your garden, and that is marigolds. Now, marigolds make an amazing companion plant. They help keep all those bad critters away, and I even heard that they can even help deter the rabbits from getting into your vegetable garden. So today we're going to go ahead and get started. A bunch of different varieties that I purchased at a store, and some that I even harvested from my farm share last year. The ones I had in my farm share actually were more of a bush variety. The more that you go ahead and deadhead them, the bigger that they got, and they made excellent cut flowers as well. But I'm going to go ahead and use these more towards hopefully to deter that pesky rabbit that was eating all of my echinacea plants last year. I just learned this the other day, so I really hope that will go ahead and help. And I even, at my seed swap that I attended this weekend, I was even able to get some tall red ones as well. So hopefully if I can make a little bit of a border around my vegetable garden, it'll stay away from some of my flowers and my vegetables. Now, the best part about starting marigolds is that they are very fast growing. You can start them anywhere from 6 to 8 weeks before your last frost date. If you would like to go ahead and have blooms before you go ahead and plant them out, definitely start them around the 8-week mark. So that is what I'm going to do today. My goal is to hopefully go ahead and get some blooms out into the garden right away, just to help those tomatoes and peppers and squash that I'm going to be planting out, as well as my beans as well. Now, as I mentioned, marigolds are fast growing, so it takes only 4 to 7 days to germinate. You might even see something a little bit quicker. When you go ahead and place your marigolds on the heat mat, you want to leave it around 75 to 80 degrees. So what I plan on doing is starting some in a 40 cell count tray, and then a couple of varieties in their own little 6 cell packs, and I'm going to put them on my smaller heat mats. Right now I have my dahlias on there, and they need the temperature between 65 and 70 degrees. So I don't want to go ahead and bump it up for the dahlias to take a slower time germinating. So we're just gonna get them on my smaller heat mats. You can also go ahead and direct sow marigold as well. So if you want, you can go ahead and get some out in the vegetable garden first, and then just save some seeds and direct sow them. You just have to make sure you wait until your last chance of a frost goes by, and then all you have to do is just bury them about 1/4 of an inch deep in the dirt and then watch them grow. So as I said before, marigolds are a natural pest repellent. They can help with nematodes and aphids. They also can go ahead and attract those slugs. I remember last year my slugs were all over them, and I didn't care if they were over the marigolds. They could have them if they wanted to, as long as they stayed off of my vegetable plants and especially my basil. They are great companion plants with your tomatoes and your peppers. What I usually like to do is in each tomato bed, I go ahead and put my tomatoes more towards the center of my bed, and then I go ahead and line them with some basil, and then on the corners and a little bit space throughout the center as well on the outside of the border, I go ahead and put some marigolds as well. You can even put them in some planted pots outside. That way you can go ahead and just have them spread throughout your whole vegetable garden. Now, while marigolds go ahead and keep those pesky critters away, they also attract pollinators as well that you do want in your garden, such as bees and butterflies. So definitely plant them for dual purposes. So in a large 40 cell count, I plan on doing, these are literally the ones that I harvested this fall. And this whole thing was almost full. I can probably just show you inside. There are so many. So the best part about marigolds, if you let them go to seed, you can easily get thousands and thousands of seeds, and I even gave them away for free last fall. I still have some cell packs, and I did go ahead and give them in my seed swapping. So I'm going to start those. Those are all orange. From my seed swapping this weekend, I also got some tall red ones. So this is what they look like. If you've never seen a marigold seed, it kind of reminds me of a little porcupine pricker. So I have these as well. They're nice and large, so it's definitely a lot easier to sow than, say, feverfew, which you need the toothpick for. And then I did have some that I purchased previously. So I have some from Burpee right here. This is the Burpee's Best Mix. And then I have another Burpee variety as well. These are going to be more just the yellow tones. And then I have Cracker Jack from Fairy Morris. So I have a couple of different varieties, but I definitely want to go ahead and get the more bushier ones on the outside of my vegetable garden. I'm hoping to put them by the little openings I have in my fence, and that hopefully will keep the little rabbit away. And then the smaller ones, I'm gonna go ahead and plant them inside my garden beds. So sticking with all of our past videos, we're gonna be doing the same exact thing. I have my espoma seed starting mix. I already went ahead and pre-moistened it. So in my 40 cell tray, I'm gonna go ahead and do my larger variety. I kind of want a little bit more of those. I also have another 40 cell that I might do for my smaller ones inside my garden bed. If not, I have some 6 cell packs that I'm gonna go ahead and fill up. And you're gonna wanna make sure that when you fill these in, that you lightly press down. You don't wanna have any air pockets in them. That way your seed won't go ahead and fall through once you start bottom watering. And I'll probably end up putting 2 marigold seeds in 1 cell at a time. That way I can just double my chances, especially the ones that I harvested myself. And then I can always go ahead, and then I will be potting these up at some point. So I can just go ahead and separate them or just keep them together as like a nice little clump. Once you go ahead and fill them, you're gonna just lightly press them in, and then you're gonna go back and top them off. You don't wanna fill them to the top because you are gonna need to go ahead and bury your seed about 1/4 of an inch deep. So you can either put them to the top and then use your little dauber and make a hole, or I'm just going to go ahead and not fill them all the way up and then lightly cover them afterwards. And once you're all set, it'll be nice and full like this. So I did leave a little bit of a room, and then as I said, I'm gonna put 2 in per cell. So we're gonna go ahead and start with mine from the farm share. I'm gonna fill this whole entire thing up, and then I believe, actually, you know what? I'm gonna start with the tall red because I have less of those. So then that way, once I run out of space, we'll go ahead and fill them with my ones from the farm share. So I'm gonna put 2 in each, cover them with dirt, and then we're gonna go ahead and put some vermiculite and then lightly mist them in. And then again, you're gonna put them on the heat mat for between 75 and 80 degrees Fahrenheit. All right, so we have all of our seeds already in place. So I'm gonna go ahead and just lightly cover them with dirt before we go ahead and top them off with vermiculite and spraying them with some water. Just gotta move some soil down. And I also made sure to go ahead and gently press them in as I was putting them in. Some of them I did get 3. I felt like they were like a little bit stuck to each other, but that will be okay. All right, so we have our first batch all set, and I made sure to go ahead and just try to get any air pockets I could and any extra dirt out of the way. All right, so we have our vermiculite, and since they don't need light to germinate, I feel like I can go ahead and put a good amount on instead of being super light with it. My feverfew did a great job poking through the layer of vermiculite, so I just like to go ahead. It gets very humid in here sometimes once the sun starts to poke through. You definitely can tell the difference between coming from the hallway and into our room. So having this extra vermiculite to go ahead and help with moisture control is super important. All right, so we have our nice layer of vermiculite. We're gonna go ahead and spritz everything in. And then you're gonna go ahead and put your humidity dome on top, and then make sure that you don't have those little vents open. So I go ahead and just make sure that the holes are alternating, so that way the moisture stays inside. And again, these will germinate fast. It says anywhere from 4 to 7 days. I've had things say they would take a week, and then they end up taking like 2 or 3 days, something crazy like that. So I check them every morning and every night. And especially once you see about, I would say 70% of them germinated, I go ahead and I pull them off the heat mat, and I take the humidity dome off. You don't want to have the dampening off, so I just go ahead, take them off, put them under the lights, and then that way they can just continue growing as happy as can be. So here is our first one, and then I'm going to try and make a decision on if I want another 40 cell or not of these ones that will go inside the garden bed. I do also like to go ahead and support this local farm stand that is also in town. These kids go ahead and every year they start marigolds with their grandfather, which is like super sweet. So I went and got, I think, 20 or so 6-packs last year to support their little farm stand. So I'm gonna go ahead and make sure I save some space for those as well. So I'll probably end up doing a few 6-pack cells because I also do have to go ahead and get sage going at some point. Super busy this weekend with the dahlias potting up. I have to get sage. I really want those for cut flowers and drying. So we got a lot going on this weekend. All right, so I decided I'm gonna do the 6 cell packs. I got 5 of them because I can fit usually about 5 of them in a smaller tray. So I'm gonna go ahead and just figure out which ones I wanna go ahead and have the most of. Last year I really enjoyed having that pop of yellow and orange and the sea of green that you have when your garden first starts to grow before your tomatoes start coming or your peppers start ripening. It's just so much green, so that's why I do love marigolds, because they do add that nice pop of color. And I had so much orange last year that I tried to make sure that the ones that I'm putting inside, I want to go ahead and do the yellow tones on the inside of my garden and then the orange ones on the outside. I also probably will do some planters inside that I have. I went to the Dollar Tree and got some, and then I also just went to Ocean State Job Lot. They had a bunch too that I could always go ahead and get some more of, like the plastic ones. I do love the ceramic ones, but they get super heavy. And my kids like to bang on them, let's be honest, with sticks or throw rocks around. So I'm aiming more for just grabbing the plastic ones, just because of the fact that I have kids that are a little bit reckless. And they're a little bit ruthless with some of the stuff that I have. All right, so we have these all set. I'm just trying to use up the leftover seed starting mix. And like I said, I have sage. I finished some winter sowing. And then I realized I still didn't finish up last night because it took a lot longer to go ahead and pot things up than I expected. So I have to go ahead and get some more last minute winter sowing because it's gonna rain tomorrow. So it's gonna be a nice day for it to get outside. And then it's gonna be sunny for the rest of the time. So I'm hoping, I have no germination yet on them, which could be my fault for placement, but I'm really hoping that something starts sprouting soon. Because I have so many seeds I feel like invested, as I'm sure everyone does. All right, so here we go. So first I'm going to go ahead and do the Cracker Jack. And I already made sure I have my plant tags. So today is March 16th. So I really want blooms to go ahead in the garden. So I am doing it around that 8-week mark. I feel like I am just so behind on seed starting, especially since time is getting a little bit closer. But I also don't mind planting things out past Memorial Day weekend. Now, just because your average last frost date, say for mine, is May 15th, doesn't mean I need to get everything out by then. I just also don't want them to get too root bound. And I also don't want to be potting up a million things because that does take time. So what I probably will end up doing is some things I will start a little bit later and trying just to not worry about it. So again, I am just gonna go ahead and put 2 per cell, and sometimes they're stuck to each other. So you could get like 3, so just try and make sure you don't get too many. And again, I really like these clear ones because you can see how the roots are. If you see my potting up video, which should be either out soon or by now, my poor echinacea plants, they were like just so root bound on some of them. They were just really suffering. So I'm hoping they'll make a nice comeback now that they're all potted up. All right, so I'm gonna do, I guess, 2 of the Cracker Jack ones. And this is a mixed color. And again, I put 2 in every single one, and you get so many marigold seeds. I mean, I couldn't even give these away for free if I tried. When I did seed swapping or anything, it was just like everyone was giving out marigold seeds, but that's okay. They're good for a few years, so I'm gonna go ahead and keep those. So again, this is Marigold Cracker Jack. And today is the 16th of March, which I'm super happy about. All right. So now we're just gonna go ahead and lightly cover these, and then we'll do the other ones and hopefully get some sage in. My kids have decided not to be sleeping, or boycotting nap time. So usually around an hour mark, my son is up. So we'll see how much I can push it today. All right, 2 down and 3 to go. All right, and there we have it. We have some more seed starting success right now. We have a bunch of marigolds that we're going to go ahead and get on the heat mat. We'll put the humidity dome in, and we'll see hopefully in 4 to 7 days some great germination rates. Now again, I did go ahead and double seed them. I will pot them up, I'm hoping, in a few weeks. We'll see how long they last in there. That's why, again, I really like those clear 6-pack cell trays. They kind of give me a good idea when things might be getting a little bit root bound, but that's okay. Sometimes you just never know if they'll both germinate, especially on the ones that I got from seed swapping or from self-harvesting. Luckily, I feel like marigolds are pretty easy to tell if they are viable and have a good seed. So we will see how everything goes. I'm just super excited because I feel like once we hit that 6 to 8 week mark, everything is just gonna be going super fast. We'll be hardening things off before we know it. I really got to get my greenhouse going and my farm stand for my flowers. So we have a lot going on. And I hope to, again, in a few weeks, get that little video up about how you can go ahead and make a raised garden bed out of cedar pickets, because that is what my garden's made out of. I just have to go ahead and just clean them up a bit. They're a little bit dirty from this past winter. So again, if you find this helpful at all and you want to just stay tuned and see how everything is doing, go ahead and click that like and subscribe button and also the bell button. So that way you can go ahead and stay updated. My tomato plants are thriving. I'm going to be uppotting peppers soon. There's just so much to do. I feel like so little time, and I still have to go ahead and get my last minute winter sowing jugs out. I'm hoping to go ahead and finish that up tonight before it starts to rain tomorrow. So we got a lot going on. So just hope that the kids sleep and I can get things done. And until next time, I'll see you later. Bye.